Now, I did want to ask you, you heard that I ran into Jenni.
Oh, yes,
at
I did hear that.
a restaurant in Encino, Larson's.
Yeah, I heard you talk about
and, a long time has, a lot
How
of time.
How long has that been? 3 years?
A lot of time.
I
don't think it's been 3 years.
2 years? 2 years.
But you know that I had reached out with a text many months ago.
Right.
I did not get a response.
Right.
I knew I would run into her eventually. And you heard about offered drinks, refused, offered dessert, refused, snuck out of the restaurant, never said hello. What do you make of that?
Well, I'm a little disappointed in her for. I would have thought she would have probably just taken the high road and overlooked it and maybe just been nice that one time and then moved on about her life. On the other hand, I understand where she's coming from. There are people that I felt like, whether they did or not, or it was intentional or not, they've burned me. And I'm just like, I don't even want anything to do with you anymore. So I see that side of it. But I would have hoped that she would have just been gracious about it and you guys could be amicable and distant friendly. But it doesn't look like it's going to be that way because the root of it is very deep for her. When I look back on that whole thing and, you firing her without a notice on the show had to be very hurtful. And the other thing that had to be very hurtful was she felt that, you and I maybe to some degree were laughing or embarrassing her about wanting to be an actress. Well, the truth was, I didn't know that she was crying in the back when I saw that, and I didn't know she wanted to be an actress. So I probably did make light of it, and then it probably was hurtful because she thought that you were rubbing it in that she wasn't really going to be this big actress. But the truth is, we were just we didn't realize how serious she took it.
I was not making fun of her.
Yeah,
I felt I was calling her out for lying.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't
because that's my button.
But we didn't realize how deep this was to her, how serious it was to her. To us, it was like another, it was just another
day,
another
fight.
Oh, you want to be an actress? Okay, great. We didn't take it as serious as obviously that was something very serious to her. And I felt terrible about the whole thing and how it worked out. And I had always hoped the two of you would resolve it. But I think she's done. Obviously, she pretty much said that in not taking the drinks or the dessert.
I think it's too bad then because I really, it takes me a long time sometimes, but I do take a look at my role in things and and I regret how I handled it. And however, I felt very embarrassed when she had announced to my entire office, who are real employees, that she was embarrassed to work there and that I somehow kept her from her acting career. And that really,
pushed your button.
It pushed my buttons and maybe I overreacted. But then, ultimately when I did let her go, I actually have no regrets about how I did it.
Yeah.
And I didn't, I think I watched back once. I haven't seen it since. But I thought I was very rational and practical and reasonable.
Well, and by the way, there was no reason for you not to let her go when she had said in front of everyone, I don't want to be your assistant.
Yeah.
So what I wish she would have done is said, okay, I get it. I'm not a good assistant. I don't like being assistant. I don't want to be an assistant. So let's be friends and let's do other things together. That's how I wish it would have worked out.
Well, that's the crazy part, because after we shot that at Stanley's over here, and that, the whole, I said to her, I said, look, I said, I said, we've kind of reached a crossroads. Right. I said, look, I want to continue to do this show. I love you in my life. Let's just make it more organic. Let's do the play dates. Let's do the dinners. Let's do what we normally do.
And by the way, you would have hired a different assistant and the show would have gone on. But let me tell you the other thing. The day that we went in that restaurant and you called her out on what you said was the lie that the
Nicolas Cage
movie.
She
Nicolas Cage. She came to my house afterwards because I left the easel in her car and she sobbed for 30 to 45 minutes. I mean, literally sobbed. I hugged her. I told her I loved her. I told her you didn't mean it, that we all loved her. And the next day, I had 2 hours at the airport. I talked to her on the phone for 2 hours to talk her off that cliff. And she was on that cliff. And that's when she said, I'm going to start calling Bravo. And I begged her not to. I said, that's crossing a line you can't go back from. She was so hurt by that. And I didn't realize how hurt she was by it, when we were doing it at the time, because at the time you were just calling her out. She was working 4 days a week part-time. She could have still gone on these gigs. So that's your side of it. And she really she felt like you humiliated her and hurt her and tried to make her look bad.
And look,
I don't think you did that at all.
I think she feels I messed with her livelihood and she went and messed with mine. And, it was reactionary and it was destructive and she ended up hurting herself in the process. But it's...
sometimes there's something called a withhold perpetration. That is when you do something that you shouldn't do, and you withheld it from somebody, and then you hold it against them later. And that's kind of the dynamic of this whole thing. I really wish you'd have been gracious and just taken the drink or the dessert and then just said, look, we're always going to agree to disagree, but we have this history together. I love the daughter, and we'll be distant friends. I don't have anything bad to say about you. I don't have anything bad to say about me, and let's just move on with our lives and wish each other well. That's how I wish it would have resolved.
Yeah.
And then that would have been...
And it wouldn't be so uncomfortable.
Exactly. And that would have been the perfect
Even if she'd said to me when I had sent that text, even if she said to me, I'm not ready to have a discussion.
Yes.
At least something out of respect for our 15-year relationship.
Yeah. But she's done. She's just done.
Oh, I got that loud and clear.
I had somebody reach out to me 2 or 3 times that I had a falling out with, but I felt that they had totally betrayed me and lied about me, and I was just like, I'm done with you. And when they reached out, I just shut them down. So I do see that side of behavior. I just thought your friendship was much deeper than that. The falling out I had was a very superficial relationship. What you guys had was like family.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm surprised that it didn't that she didn't come around to some degree.
Maybe she will eventually.
I hope
so. It's just been a long time.
It's been a long time, but I hope so. But if I had to guess, I would say probably not, And I don't know that it's so much a grudge as it is that she's just felt so hurt. I think that's part of it. It's hard to heal. It's kind of like a scorned woman in a way. Like when you have a bad breakup, you might be friendly because of the kid, but you can't ever get over it. It's kind of like that right now. And you don't have it. There's no reason for her to have to get over it.
Yeah.
So it's too bad.
It's a shame. But you know what? In regards to...
But you'll be doing a ton of other projects she could have been involved in too. That's kind of the sad part too.
Yeah.
It's a missed opportunity for her too.
Well, that's what I was saying. She messed with her own livelihood in the process because I would have continued to bring her along.
Well, you always do.